New year, new me. It's time to lock in. A familiar mantra echoed by millions every January 1st. We gather together, reciting well-crafted resolutions about how we plan on finally achieving the best version of our lives this year, just like the last. But hey, this isn't just exclusive to New Year's. Whether we notice it or not, the maximization of ourselves is present every single day. From the relentless pursuit of university admissions to the constant glorification of ourselves, our resumes, our lifestyles, and our networks, the drive for self-maximization is truly permeating our lives. Or even beyond this, where corporate America paints a picturesque image of hustle culture and self-improvement and self-made billionaires. The hustle culture we exist in today is truly inevitable. And just like a lot of other people sitting in this theater, I admit that I've been victim to this hustle culture for my whole entire life. Just after turning 16, I opened a Google Doc and made a life planner on how I plan on achieving my perfect destiny. Waking up at 6 a.m. every morning, taking daily cold showers, and really paving that path towards success. I printed it off, signed my name, and made an oath to myself to stick to it for one whole year. And it actually worked. Like all my favorite productivity YouTubers and TV characters, I was finally able to feel that sense of achievement that I had longed for. My plan had finally worked for one whole week. After the initial success, I felt horrible. I realized that this self-maximization treadmill led me to feel horrible about myself, to feeling like I'm in constant battle with myself, trying not to fall asleep during class, and trying to find motivation to be productive at all. At the end of the day, through many ups and many more downs, my productivity craze ended in me spending half of my March break in bed, overcome by so much burnout and a mental exhaustion that threatened both my ego and my dignity. By not being able to keep up with this hustle culture of today, I really did feel horrible. I felt like a failure, and with every passing minute spent not on productive activities, I'd only become increasingly engulfed in stress and anger. Soon, I'd realized how much I tied my self-worth to productivity, to how efficient I was with my time, which is really quite ironic, because I pursued productivity to feel happy, but what I ended up doing was seeing myself at the lowest point mentally in my high school career. And this is not a unique situation. Today, more than 78% of Canadians suffer from burnout. And by the age of 40, 1 in 2 Canadians will have suffered from depression. On a societal level, Tim Cassar's research suggests that the 4 principles of modern American capitalism constantly lead to poor mental health. And yeah, it's quite ironic that what we perceive as success is so toxic. However, it hasn't always been this way. Let's use some philosophy in unpacking history and modern reality. According to French philosopher Michel Foucault, decades ago, society existed in a disciplinary framework where motivation and control were exercised through disciplinary means. For example, if I were to break the law, I were physically imprisoned. If I were to become unemployed, They might ship me off to some factory where they offered me physical punishments for noncompliance. Now, the bottom line is just that back then, society had to physically force us to do stuff, physically force us to work, physically force us to become efficient, which creates a clear line between the perpetrator and the victim. And though today, yes, we still see some aspects of discipline in our society, what we also see with the advent of modernity and neoliberalism ushers a new social paradigm, also known as the achievement society. What is the achievement society? Well, this term is coined by German-Korean philosopher Byung-Chul Han, and in this era today, marked by civil rights movements and advanced technology and the pursuit of self-autonomy, what we actually feel is we feel these disciplinary barriers breaking. And what emerges out of that is intrinsic motivation. What emerges is the pursuit of achievement. Now, there are increasingly more people who try to strive and take the initiative to better themselves all by themselves. They take the initiative to be achieving and to work and to be effective in their work and ultimately become entrepreneurs of themselves. And these people, just like you and I today, are now achievement subjects who buy into the concept that they have to continuously be working, continuously be improving, and continuously be exercising the wheel of self-exploitation. Now, this exploitation I'm talking about manifests in 3 ways. Firstly, we now experience unlimited cans and infinite potentials. And you might think this is good, like we don't have someone constantly talking in our ear, telling us every little thing we should do. But what this means is this leaves a void for us to become responsible for ourselves, to be responsible for, yes, our development, but also for our downfalls. Secondly, children now from a young age are becoming indoctrinated into that lifestyle of maximization. This looks like parents hoping and praying that we choose a profession that's high-paying, or this looks like teachers constantly praising higher achieving students. At the end of the day, this selective messaging really pushes children, like young children, to really value those things like money, things like success. But finally, for those who don't want to opt in to that wheel of maximization, for those people who maybe don't want to go to university or want to be a stay-at-home parent, they're often scrutinized and shamed by our society. Even not having a New Year's resolution is now seen as shameful and experience a lot of pressure to conform. And what this does is it makes us, both the guards and the prisons, encountering our own captivity. But secondly, I think I've talked enough about about philosophy. So now let's ground this in reality. What are the consequences of this achievement society? And frankly, why should I even care? Well, firstly, let's talk about depression and burnout. Also known as tiredness, this phenomenon stems from the pursuit of perfection really draining us and ridding us of all our fuel, where we become exhausted, especially exhausted of ourselves. Now, depression and burnout often stems from something known as the efficiency trap, where we think the more we run towards the sun, the more we become efficient in our work and productive and do as much as possible, the more we feel happy. Well, in reality, when we burn ourselves out, when we continue on this hedonistic treadmill and we don't find happiness at the end, this is when we start feeling hopeless. This is when we start feeling tired. And this is when we start feeling shameful of the mediocrity in our lives. But in this quest for self-improvement, something else gets crucially lost, and that's our ability to contemplate and reflect. And for example, by constantly being on TikTok, constantly on YouTube Shorts, or even multitasking just to avoid facing life head on. These are so many ways that we procrastinate and stimulate ourselves so much to the point where we lose the crucial ability as human beings to truly contemplate. And this is really harmful because that is clearly the only thing that humans have that certain animals don't. So according to some philosophers, there's now no difference between us and our dogs or our cats. We're now all the same because the more productive we get, the farther away from human we become. But finally, let's talk about neoliberalism. Well, as philosopher Giorgio Agamben states in his concept of homo sacer, this feels quite eerily familiar. Defined as humans who are so dehumanized so that when they're killed, their killers are no longer deemed murderers. This isn't just a theoretical concept. It's woven into our societies. Because now, in our pursuit towards ambitious passions and goals, we've become mere cogs in a machine of production, where we are trapped in an endless rat race of money, wealth, and perceived happiness. And what this does is this makes us empty. It makes us unable to feel what it feels to truly be human. And it takes away from all the wonderful things we can do. For example, youth now are too busy getting 100 on their math test. They're too busy doing 8,000 extracurriculars, where they don't have that time to really sit down and ponder their life. They aren't able to do the things they love. We're constantly go, go, go. And that's the main thing wrong with this achievement society today. So in this today filled with constant depression and exploitation, this self-improvement that we talk about feels hopeless. It feels like we should just give up. It feels like I'm telling you just to tongue ping or lie flat in order to escape the matrix that is achievement. However, as you guys may know, self-improvement is actually quite good, especially paired with other self-redeeming aspects. It can truly help change your life. It can fuel your motivation and your passion for new things. It can be good sometimes. But what Byung-Chul Han offers as a remedy is quite interesting. The solution is viva contemplevia, or profound idleness. Now, this doesn't just mean being lazy, lying on your bed 24/7. This means embracing healthy boredom. Instead of hustling every single day and spending your waking hours worrying about if you're hustling enough, just take a moment, sit down, stare at the clouds, or just engage in the slow mundaneness of your life that truly fuels your soul. So together, let's rid the notion that your self-worth is tied to productivity, because engaging in those mundane moments of your life can truly be life-changing. Let's stop worrying about accomplishing your New Year's resolution or making up all these spectacular goals only to be unfulfilled, but instead focus on the imperfections that make life so beautiful. Let's take that time to really care about our own well-being, because we're trying to reclaim our humanity and recharacterize our society today so that fulfillment does not equal productivity, but rather how much we can truly live. So next time it's your birthday, I urge you not to make a life planner. Instead, go outside, meet people, touch grass, and realize that you've just defeated what it means to be a modern, self-exploiting human. Thank you. Thank you.